What is up, everybody? Jarrett from Empire of Assets here, and I just submitted my first SGC submission. So I'm going to show you the cards that I'm submitting, and then in about a month we'll be getting these bad boys back, and we can talk about the grades I got and if it ended up being worth it. I did talk about in one of my other recent videos why I finally decided to grade with SGC. I have been sitting on probably around 100 cards between Pokemon, Metazoo, some sports stuff that need to be graded since PSA, since my last submission of Pokemon in November of 2020. I still don't have those cards back, and been really trying to ramp up lately, buying collections, selling on eBay. Got a website I'm working on, just really trying to get the ball rolling a little more seriously. I've just done a lot of buying, not a lot of selling. So I'm going to start really trying to work on that, just due to just wanting to get things going a little more. And PSA, if you don't know right now, is only doing $50 submissions. In order to get access to those submissions, you have to spend $100 to buy a yearly subscription. And then they have lotteries twice a week, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right during the middle of the day. I work a full-time job, so it's not possible for me to get online an hour early, sit in a waiting room, and then try and be one of the first 2,000 or 3,000 people drawn. You can only submit 5 cards at a time if you do get picked for the lottery, and it's $50 a card with a 3-month turnaround time. Just not very conducive to the kind of quick turn and burn type of thing that I'm looking for. I've seen a lot of stuff about SGC. The reason I haven't gone with SGC before is their Pokemon card market is just not very strong at all. If you hit in SGC 10, you're going to get usually a 50% premium over a raw card, maybe better than that, but it's not very much. And if you hit a 9.5, usually a 9.5 is selling for the same as a raw card, and a 9 you're losing money on. So it's really tough in Pokemon. I've looked at the numbers a lot, and it just doesn't really make sense. However, with Metazoo, I've been seeing some kind of more promising stuff, which is interesting. I think if you hit an SGC 10, you're doing pretty well. Even a 9.5, you probably cover your cost of the $30 grading on most cards, maybe even a little better. I've been buying a lot of Metazoo lately, so it just kind of makes sense for me to give it a shot and see how it goes. I'm pretty excited. I definitely think SGC's kind of moved up to the number 2 spot and taken over from BGS, but obviously PSA is just not really an option. SGC should have the cards back. They say 20 to 25 business days from the time you drop them, they'll have them graded, but I do know the guys over at Slabstocks have sent in some stuff and had their stuff back, I believe, in like 12 days or even less than that. So very, very quick turnaround times, which is awesome. Hopefully I will have these guys back before the end of March, which is great. So let's talk about the actual cards that I'm grading. I did look over these very, very closely at $30 a card. It's not super expensive, but it's pretty easy to get burned, especially on some of these cards I'm sending in are a little bit cheaper cards, ones that I think will do well long term, but you got to be super, super careful. You're only sending in the best of the best, or at $30 a card, this is going to cost me, I think, just over 400 bucks. It's like $415, I believe. Yeah, $415, so $390 for grading. I'm sending in 13 cards, and then $25 for them to ship them back to me. So obviously it's really easy to burn a lot of money doing this. But these are the cards. So this is probably the biggest card. This is a Kickstarter Full Hollow Slide Rock Bolter. Again, all these cards look super clean. I looked over them very, very carefully. Here we have a little nice reserve list. Eternal Snowflake Reverse Hollow Kickstarter. Beast of Busco Kickstarter Reverse Hollow. Those are actually cards that I pulled out of my box that I opened back in March of 2021 when I opened my Kickstarter box when they were still $100 a piece before they became $8,000. So that's kind of cool. Be interesting to see what those get. And there is one more, another Reverse Hollow Slide Rock Bolter there. Not sure. Those I'm probably just going to grade and then look to sell them and then buy some more raw Kickstarter stuff. I don't know if I'll ever complete the full set. It's very expensive, but that's kind of a long-term goal, is completing the Kickstarter set. Then up next we got some first edition stuff. So here is a Chaos Crystal Reverse Hollow. It's about a $50, $60 card. Here's a Full Hollow Chaos Crystal. So this is the best non-Kickstarter card that we got in here. Those are about 125 bucks. And I think if this is a PSA 10, it could pretty easily be $400 or $500 card, which is nice. And just some more artifacts now that these are technically reserve list. They're still right around between $20 and $25 a piece. I think long term these could do pretty well, so I think it's worth getting them graded. Not even long term, but just I think if you hit a nice 9.5 or a 10 and the prices kind of come up a little bit over the next month or two when Wilderness comes out, I think we could be doing really well on a lot of these. So there is a medium's third eye, lightning glass. This is a box topper. This was the box topper that I got off of the first edition booster box that I opened back when those were $100 a piece, and now they're $1,000 or $900 or whatever. But this is the Flame Aura box topper. That's about a $60 card. This one I just want to get graded because I don't think there's a single one of these graded. So that could do some decent numbers. Then we have the last one. This is a Nightfall Grim Reaper. Nightfall cards are pretty notorious for having a ton of chipping along that top edge. This one doesn't seem to have it. Seems to have pretty good centering. So definitely hoping for a 9.5 or a 10. If I did hit a 10, I might keep this one. Grim Reaper is my favorite card out of Nightfall, but we'll see. And then we got a couple of sports cards, UFC in particular. These I picked up a long time ago. They are 2019 Topps Chrome Peter Yan. This is a refractor. Then I have the Sepia refractor where it's kind of like bronzish in color. And then we have the X-fractor. Those I picked up a long time ago for pretty cheap. He obviously, is he the interim champion right now or if he's the true champion? But yeah, he's got a fight coming up in April. So hopefully I'll have these back and then I can list them for the April fight and do a nice little bit of profit there. But that's all the cards that I am submitting to SGC. Let me know down in the comments, have you guys subbed with SGC at all? What are your thoughts? Obviously, like I said, Pokemon is just really tough. Hopefully the market comes around because I would really like to see a more affordable grading option that people actually respect and think is legit. On the flip side, I do think buying SGC is a nice little play in the Pokemon market right now. I think an SGC 10 is going to very easily cross to a PSA 10. I think an SGC 9.5 has a pretty good shot at hitting a PSA 10. I feel the same way about CGC. I think they really grade hard. I think there's probably quite a few CGC 9s that would cross over to a PSA 10, especially if they got pretty good subgrades. And I definitely think an SGC 9.5 would cross to a PSA 10. I think they grade cards like they grade comic books, and if you know anything about comic book grading, it's got to be a perfect comic book is always a 9.8. A 10 is basically unheard of, I guess. So I think they grade pretty tough. So I do think there's a nice little opportunity there to buy these cards for the cheap, hold them, and then maybe crack them and sub them to PSA, or just see if the market catches up. I know I bought a Dragonite V alternate art out of Evolving Skies on SGC 10 on a PWCC auction for 130 bucks. And that was back when the card was selling for 120. So you're looking at a $30 markup for a PS or an SGC 10, which is basically the cost of the grading. So I will take that all the time. But just some things to consider. Like I said, let me know down in the comments if you are thinking about grading with SGC, if you have graded with SGC, if you've bought any SGC. I would love to have a discussion down in the comments. So let me know. But anyways, or otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.